Hi, this is Dr. Susan Lynn Beckwith. Welcome to The Handmaid's Tale, Then and Now. Mind the gap. So last week I sent you a link to my personal website so you could get to know a little bit about me as a person, and I'm hoping to get to know more about you as a person and all of the people in our class together. At the bottom of that site, you would have found a link to our course website, and when you clicked on it, it would have taken you to the course website. You would have seen that along with the book The Handmaid's Tale and then its sequel, The Testaments, we're also going to be looking at the adaptation Hulu is making of The Handmaid's Tale, and we're even going to be looking at memes and other aspects of The Handmaid's Tale that infiltrate our culture today, since we're all kind of living through a version of Gilead. On that same site, you would have seen the workflow for the course, where I explain credit hours and how they work, and the fact that I'm actually not going to work you as hard as credit hours expect you to be worked. The Moodle site is live, and when you click on it, you will be able to see in the first section the course materials and welcome week. We have a social forum. This is just an open forum for chatting about anything you want to. It doesn't have to be about the class. Okay, because I actually had this in my editing mode, you can see that there's an announcement section that's hidden from students. That's because instead of announcements, we're using facts. So that facts form, frequently asked questions, I actually created that instead of announcements because announcements sound so one-sided. Whereas with facts, they're questions that you can ask, they're questions that I can answer, and we're going to have some fun facts that occur throughout the semester as well. And rather than an announcement forum where you're not able to reply back or to post there, this facts forum you can post in without me sending out a response that only goes to you and cannot be replied back to me from you. You'll also see the syllabus. Now, I'm going to say that this is the ADA compliant full OU syllabus for the class. Oh my gosh, it is so long. Please do not be overwhelmed by its length. It contains a great deal of information that's required by the university for dissemination to all students. There's also information about our course, obviously, but this is not the syllabus that I would hand out in terms of the ease of parsing the information. So please do not think when you get this, I think it's like a 13-page syllabus, that everything in this class is going to be 13-page syllabus style. You can also see the calendar on the website. You'll be able to click on that as well. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. In the section after the welcome, you're going to see what I call LecVids or lecture videos. Now these, you're actually going to want to view before you start reading The Handmaid's Tale. This is a literature general education course as well. And as you would have seen on the website, there are expectations about you understanding literary form and structure. These lectures provide you with the essentials and the foundation you need to be able to explore that in The Handmaid's Tale, both in its written form, the book, its adaptation, and then also The Testaments, its sequel. After that section, you will see that I have broken the course into sections, The Handmaid's Tale chapters 1 through 10. Those are the chapters that you're actually reading for next week's discussion. It's about 75 pages, which should take you about an hour to read. So then the next section, The Handmaid's Tale, chapters 11 through 20, you can see that same format for each section or each week actually repeats itself. We have a discussion, we have a blog, and we have a reading journal. Now, I explain all these more in detail on both the calendar and then when you click on each of these links. Now, when I first click on this link, it's going to seem a little bit overwhelming, the explanation, but after we've done it once, it will not be as overwhelming. So, discussion, ha ha ha, see what I did there? Dystopia, discussion, I'm very proud of myself. This is a forum where we can post what and what the heck, which is what the heck, WTH, comments and posts about the dystopia we're about to enter into, or the dystopia we're currently living in. We're always going to be connecting these texts to different socio-historical cultural contexts. The one the text was written in, 1985 for The Handmaid's Tale, the late 2019 era for the Testaments, etc. Today, 2020, we're also going to go further back in time. You're going to see and look at what Margaret Atwood may have been drawing on when she created this dystopic universe. Also, you might have already noticed I'm not sticking to academic/formal language here in the explanation or even as I speak to you in this welcome video. That isn't how we talk when we talk, and this forum is for us to be able to talk with one another. This is not for you to write an essay. This is for you to talk about what you want to talk about, what catches your interest, so you can figure out this book together the way you would as if you were sitting around a coffee shop or in a reading group, etc. So one thing though, let's maybe do it like there's a table of grandmas nearby. Avoid curse words. If you've watched the Hulu adaptation, which you do not need to have done already for this class, and it's actually excellent if you have not yet seen it. But if you have seen it, you do know that the characters do not avoid curse words. Let's not quote the characters unless we're actually quoting the characters. So that's why you're going to have to talk about the F word. It's going to come up a lot. But you can see how I actually abbreviate it or don't spell it out, etc. when you're writing it. Also, sex. We're going to need to talk about sex in this class, whether it's in this discussion or in your other 2 posts per week, which are going to be the reading reflection and the blog. But when you do talk about sex, use words like sex or intercourse. Don't use slang terms. Except maybe the clean ones, knocking boots, or, and I'm so proud because I think I made this up, knack, slang for Netflix and chill, and I'm totally going to start using that. So anyway, you might also notice that I did a typo here in the instructions. That is on purpose. While we should try to be as careful as possible here, this is not an assignment. This is us talking and typing fast and excitedly. So that is what your discussion forum consists of. Then on Tuesdays, you're going to be posting a blog. So the blog is, and now this is where the instructions are going to seem like a lot at first. I'm going to skip down to the bottom of that page where it tells you your choice of topics on the blog each week. So each week you'll be writing a blog, which is about 300 words and can include pictures and have hashtags. You guys know blogs. This is a blog. Your blog will either connect a quote in The Handmaid's Tale to a 2020 news event trend, or to a quote from The Handmaid's Tale when you go back and research things that were going on in 1985 that may have, or the early 1980s I should say, things that may have inspired Margaret Atwood that were going on in the news, different events or trends, to actually have embedded this in her novel. We're also going to take this back to the 1600s and the 1700s, historical practices, news, events, and trends that are tied to a quote from the reading. Or the 2120 blog, where you anticipate life 100 years from now and connect that to a quote in the reading. So if you're familiar with fan fiction, this can be very similar to fan fiction, or you could tie it to dystopias and dystopic literature if you like that genre in particular. And then also, you'll have your choice where you can choose what you want your blog to be about from a quote in The Handmaid's Tale, or you can repeat one of those previous four: 2020, 1985, the 1600s, or flashing forward to 2120. So again, these writings are going to be blogs, and I want you to keep that in mind. The information in the middle of this page, which you can spend time reading, is actually had access the Google Doc template that you will use to keep your collection of blogs for the entire semester. Now that is a template, so you're going to need to make a copy of it and then rename it with your name, HC 2020 blog, and then you're going to need to share it with me, giving me editing privileges so I can comment on it. Each week you're going to work on your blog there, and when you get it finished and finalized and it's ready for publication, you're going to copy and paste it to our class blog page, and that's what that second link is. This will all become much more clear as we go on. And also, two things. One, the first week, there's no fails. There are probably no fails throughout this entire semester, but do not be stressed about doing this for the first time. The first week, we're all going to be doing this for the first time. So we're going to expect to hit some rough patches, possibly. So I think you'll master this pretty easy. It is pretty simple. The other thing is, you're going to be repeating it every week, so that's actually going to make it become second nature, and then you're just going to be thinking about the blog that you want to write. If you click on the third link, so you have your discussion, you have your blog, now we have the reading journal. So this follows the same protocol in terms of you're going to go to a Google Doc, you're going to make a copy of it, you're going to name it in the way I specify here, giving me editing privileges. When you've completed your reading journal, you're going to copy and paste that to the class reading and journal. And that's where we're all going to be able to read and comment on one another's analyses all in one place. So now this is actually an analysis, but it's a reading journal because it is not a full essay. Instead, what I'm going to be asking you to do is to focus on one of the five, and these are again listed below, very specific aspects of literature. Now you'll note that these are actually also the aspects of literary studies analysis that I created the lectures on that you view before you even start your reading. These are only 300 to 600 original words in length. You can go longer, but I really want you to be focused on one aspect. So you have a choice. The first choice is a symbol. So you'll find a quote where there's an object in it which you feel represents something that means something other than what the object is. And then you're going to deconstruct that symbol. Look at how it's described, where it's placed, how it's being used in the story at that point in time. Or your second choice will be analyzing the narrator, the narrative structure based on a quote from the reading. Third will be identifying the different types of conflicts in a series of quotes from the reading. And by the way, when I say the reading, it's the reading for that week. And then your fourth will be to analyze characterization in a series of quotes from the reading. So again, I have the lecture videos for you to view and then review as often as you want on all of those literary elements: symbol, narrator, conflicts, characterization. But essentially what I want you to do is find a quote in each week's reading and use that quote to really show your understanding of what a symbol is in a text, in a novel, etc., or how that symbol is working, and really pick apart and deconstruct that quote. So I keep using the word quote rather than passages. Now, there are going to be times where you're going to use more than one quote, or you're going to have some short passages. But don't get caught up in having a very lengthy passage that makes your analysis and your focus too dispersed. We want this to be really impactful in 300, 600 words. That's not many words. You're going to find that out very quickly. Now, I do say that at the same time, I know there are going to be students who want to write over that amount. That is perfectly fine as well. It is not required, but if you want to keep writing because you are very excited to talk about something, keep on writing. If you're excited and you're staying focused on what you're talking about, analyzing, we're all going to be interested in reading what you're writing about. So after all this in a 15-minute welcome video, I just want to remind you guys, we're going to have fun in this class. So congratulations, you are the first class in all my years of teaching where I am actually going to say the word fart out loud. But we're going to be talking about funny aspects of The Handmaid's Tale, things that have occurred within culture, and it is made to be humorous. But we're also, when we talk about the horrors and the dystopia of The Handmaid's Tale, we're going to have fun talking about that terrible world. So you guys, I'm really excited for this class. I designed it because I love The Handmaid's Tale. I loved it as a book before it was made into the Hulu adaptation. I love the Hulu adaptation, and actually, in fact, just a little bit of a trivia here. As I was preparing this earlier today, I had NPR on, not when I was talking, obviously, and Offred's mother from the Hulu adaptation was on Fresh Air talking about her myriad acting roles, but also about The Handmaid's Tale, which made me just so much more excited to talk about this with you guys as well. If you have any questions, please email me. The Moodle site is now live, so you can start parsing through it. You will see that it's very simple because we're going to keep repeating the same things, but the subject matter will always change. And you guys, stay safe and take care, and I look forward to talking to you all soon. Good night.